Oh, hey, Ian, you wanted to see me?
Oh, hi, Josh. Yeah, we just wanted to update you with some new information that we'd like you to pass on to the community.
Oh, no. I mean, okay, great.
Is there a problem?
No. Well, yes. I mean, it's been pretty tense out there the last couple of weeks, you know? I was kind of thinking it might be a good idea to lay low for a while.
Yeah, okay, I get that, but honestly, this is great news, and everyone is going to love you for it, I promise.
Yeah, last time you said that, you wanted me to announce a new store mount.
Okay, this is a home run. It's about WoW Classic.
Oh, God. You've cancelled WoW Classic, haven't you? You want me to tell them you've cancelled WoW Classic?
Josh, no. I told you, it's good news. WoW Classic is releasing early.
What?
Yeah, it's finished, so it's releasing in full the month after BlizzCon. It's going to be free to anyone who wants to play it. It's going to be exactly the same as Vanilla WoW. Anyone who installs it will also receive a handwritten letter from me apologizing for everything that they don't like in BfA. Oh, and $100 store credit compensation.
Wow, that's actually really great.
Yeah, and that's not all. We need you to announce that we're bringing out playable high elves and ogres in patch 8.1. Oh, and if you've got time, you can reveal the new plans for player housing too.
Ian, this is all so great. You are making my job so much easier. Anything else?
Oh yeah, I almost forgot. We're buffing Shaman.
Really? Oh wow! This is so... Oh, no. Wait a minute, say that last one again?
We're buffing Shaman.
Yeah, this is a dream, isn't it?
Josh? 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 Josh?
Yes, Ian?
Yeah, so just inform the community that we will be adding Azerite Armor to Classic, and then you can break for lunch, okay?
Yes, Ian.
Are you crying?
Knowledge is power.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the weekly reset, Taliesin and Evitel's Wondrous Wisdom Show. And this week, we've got classic news. We've got hype about classic news, and backlash from classic news, and backlash against the backlash from the classic news, and also some stuff that isn't classic news, like lore, basically becoming the official Blizzard sacrificial lamb, or punchbag, or moustache-twirling villain, depending on your point of view, because Azerite Armor though. Plus, you remember those yellow and red spoiler alert warning things we introduced last episode? Yeah, well, I hope you like them because you are going to be seeing a lot of them this time as we dive headfirst into some absolutely dizzying data mining, taking in Saurfang, Tyrande, the Proudmoors, the Siege of Zuldazzar, Mekkatorque, Gallywix, and reveal that the greatest evil the universe has ever known happens to be Welsh, just like all the best people. Ooh, and a quick note on those spoiler warning lights, by the way. Some of you correctly pointed out that where we put them last week, right by the pictures we show, means that scrolling through the video, it was quite difficult to keep your eye on the warning thing without seeing the spoilers, because the warning you were looking at was right next to the spoilers, which seems like a pretty fair complaint, to be honest. So from now on, we'll be moving the spoiler warning signal to here instead. I hope that helps. But you don't have to worry about any of that just yet anyway, because we begin this week with BlizzCon 2018, the virtual ticket, and that WoW Classic announcement. Because as is tradition, BlizzCon will be taking place in Anaheim in November. Tens of thousands of people will flow into a convention center to watch Blizzard make a big Diablo announcement, pay $15 for a hot dog, and enjoy half a set from a late 90s new metal band. And if that sounds a bit rubbish to you, well, yes, actually, now I say it out loud, it does sound a bit rubbish, but honestly, it's not, because honestly, BlizzCon is like the best time, okay? It's full of amazing people just hanging out and having fun and watching panels and getting drinks, and there's genuinely something really magical about it. And if you have the time and the money to go, then you should definitely consider it. But that's the thing. This shit is expensive. For someone in the EU, with flights, hotels, food, and of course the tickets, the whole thing is likely to cost you a couple of grand at the least. And I'm sorry, but it doesn't matter how magical the feels, that's a lot of money for a weekend. Like, for that much money, you could probably hire Alfonso Ribeiro to do the Carlton dance in your living room for a weekend. And you know what? Now, I genuinely can't say for certain I'm going to be at BlizzCon until I've just double-checked Alfonso Ribeiro's availability for November, because that sounds great. But it's expensive, is what I'm saying. Thankfully, these days we have the magic of the digital ticket, where you can enjoy the opening ceremony and other panels live from the comfort of your own home, which, yes, okay, has gone up by $10 to $50 this year, which isn't super cheap in itself, but which still has many advantages over actually being at BlizzCon. For one, you probably won't have to pay $5 for a bottle of water in your house. Like, you can probably just get water from a tap in your house. And two, you actually get to see all of the panels that you want to, because honestly, when you're at BlizzCon, you don't see any of that shit. Really, we were there in the building last year, and we still had to actually just watch all of the cool dev panels on the virtual ticket when we got back to the hotel every night. So if you are interested in seeing everything that BlizzCon has to offer, and you can't afford the trip to the convention itself, the virtual ticket might be something that you want to treat yourself to. And of course, there's the added bonus of the traditional digital in-game goodies that you will receive as part of the deal, which for WoW this year consists of Horde and Alliance cloaks, which are really nice. I mean, they're cloaks. The Alliance one is blue, the Horde one is red. Everything seems to be in order. GG, well done. And also, Horde and Alliance banners, which, okay, should leave me as unmoved as the cloaks, I know, but honestly, these are so great. Like, why am I so impressed by these banners? I don't think I've ever used a banner in WoW even once in 12 years, but these got some fur on them, and suddenly I'm all like, oh man, I love these banners. These banners will really help me express myself and my personality in game. I really want these banners. Thanks for the great banners, Blizzard. And okay, they are definitely not as cool as the Horde and Alliance mounts that we got last year. There's no pet either, which for many has left the WoW offering feeling a bit thin on the ground in 2018. But the thing is, as it turns out, that's not all, because Blizzard have an extra special WoW Classic shaped ace up their sleeve this year, which was revealed when Ian and J. Allen Brack put out a video this week and announced that also at BlizzCon and part of the digital ticket goodies this year would be, well, I kind of spoiled it, but it's WoW Classic. There will be a playable demo of WoW Classic on the convention floor in Anaheim, and for the first time ever, people at home will be able to play something which any other year would only have been available to those physically there at the con, which for one, that's brave, Blizzard. Seriously, I'm really glad it's not me that has to try and make that work. Good luck. And for two, it's WoW Classic, and it's playable. I mean, yes, it's just a demo. It sounds like it's going to be a few quests in Elwyn Forest and the Barrens. There's probably going to be about, 10 minutes of gameplay, but that doesn't matter because we are going to finally get to see with our own eyes how this thing runs, and I hope to all put our minds at rest that it is essentially what we all want it to be. A faithful, unaltered recreation of their chosen vanilla patch in all its old school glory. This is a massive deal for a lot of people. It's incredibly meaningful and personal even for a huge number of the player base. This is clearly great news for anyone with even a passing interest in WoW Classic. And so it proved on the forums, where there was double joy, not just because there was a playable demo much sooner than many expected, but that Blizzard was willing to break new ground in offering that demo, not just to those lucky enough to attend the convention, but the potentially limitless others on the virtual ticket too, and a joy in the realization that the game that would break this new ground would be the game that for many started it all. WoW's success was the driving force behind the very first BlizzCon, and now WoW Classic would be the first time you could play a game being debuted at BlizzCon without actually being there. How fitting, how romantic, no, it was a shit show, obviously. Blizzard's minds are like money, 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 and they think we are monkeys to grab a banana from them. For the love of God, this company on a suicidal mission to single-hand flock up this game totally. Honestly, it's like dealing with Bangkok market stall selling fakes bartaying. What? Never mind. So sad to see this company fall to liberal cuck level. Stop thinking of way to con, bullshiners! Hey, you know what? I agree. $50 is too much to pay for some cloaks and banners and WoW Classic demo. I wouldn't do that. In the same way that $28,930 is too much to pay for a cup holder. But if that cup holder is inside a Jaguar E-Pace, then that's pretty much the going rate, you know? Because to state the very obvious here, that $50 price tag is not for the cloaks and the banners and the WoW Classic demo. That's the price for the virtual ticket, which would cost the same if there were no in-game rewards or if there were much better in-game rewards. And I know, people buy this ticket for the in-game goodies. Deal with it! And that's true. I'm sure for the majority of cases, that might even be true. And let's face it, for a lot of people, that WoW Classic demo, which you can't even keep, unlike other awards, that is one hell of a carrot. And Blizzard obviously know that, but I also think this is quite a good example of the weird no-win situation that people enjoy putting Blizzard in at the moment. Like, are these rewards a con because they are as bad as these comments say, or are they a con because they are tempting enough to be manipulating as these comments also say? It's a case of what I like to call Schrodinger's Blizzard. As I'm sure we all know, Schrodinger's cat is a theoretical theory about a cat in a box, and the idea that because you don't know if the cat is alive or dead without opening the box, until you do, the cat is, to all intents and purposes, simultaneously alive alive and dead. I'm simplifying because give a shit, don't at me. And in this example, Blizzard are the company that manipulate you into buying a virtual BlizzCon ticket that you don't want by including sweet in-game rewards, while simultaneously conning you by not making the rewards good enough that you'd want to pay the ticket price for them in the first place. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is a classic Schrodinger's Blizzard. They simultaneously only care about getting your money, while at the same time not bothering to make anything you'd like to pay for. And this next bit's very important, because I don't think you're wrong for holding either of these viewpoints. Either could be true depending on your point of view, and the fact that both of these criticisms can be valid makes it an impossible problem for Blizzard to actually resolve to everyone's satisfaction. I think this is quite a nice low-key example of that. For me, by far the most important thing about any of this anyway, now they have announced 8.1 and revealed a playable classic demo before BlizzCon. It just makes me even more curious about what they could possibly reveal in BlizzCon. And yes, I know it's all about Diablo this year, but they have to say something about WoW, and the two things I would have put money on are already out there. So is there a big WoW reveal coming out, and what's it going to be? And now I really want to put the spoiler warning up and talk about Welsh old gods, but I can't because there's something else we have to look at. Another little taste of Schrodinger's Blizzard in action later on in the week with my absolute favourite subject in the whole of WoW, Azerite Armor. Community manager Law decided to respond to a long, thorough and well-reasoned post entitled Azerite, worst itemization in WoW's history, which surmised the problems with Azerite Armor in its current form, basically as you can't target the gear you want. The chance of you getting the piece you want in the weekly cache is 1 in 100. The vast majority of traits are useless and uninteresting. Refarming the same traits on higher eye level gear feels bad. The things the traits do are unintuitive and all need simming to make sense of. The traits are all very unbalanced. The reforge cost reintroduces the exact spec lock problem people had in Legion, but worse, the tuning taking place right now means we don't know what gear is going to end up the best gear anyway. This was the post that Law responded to with a pretty detailed blue post of his own, and we'll get to that in a second. But the problems highlighted in this OP are problems that I think the majority of the community can agree with on regards to Azerite Armor. I mean, I could nitpick. I think that at least 3 of these points are describing the same problem. I think the first point talks like a Mythic Plus is the only way to get Azerite Armor, which it's not. Also, it gets its maths slightly wrong on that subject as well, but not to an extent that actually matters. The traits are definitely largely uninteresting, but they certainly aren't useless, because if they were, you wouldn't be targeting one trait over all the others. That trait clearly is more useful to you. It's uninspiring stat padding, yes, but that's not without use. It's something that you'd rather have than not. The reforge cost is categorically not the exact same spec lock problem people had in Legion, because when you change spec in BfA, you still have the same amount of artifact power as you had on your other spec. You don't have to level your weapon again from scratch. Small, ultimately unimportant points like that, but it doesn't matter overall. The fact is, none of these points, broadly, are very controversial. They may affect different players to varying degrees, but they are problems which I think we can all agree exist with the Azerite system, even if not exactly in the ways described here. Another important note about this post, it gathers together most of the complaints about Azerite Armor in one handy place, but purposely offers pretty much nothing in the way of suggestions to fix it. That's not the purpose of the post. It's a good post. It deserves a reply, and so to Law's reply, which, to be frank, probably didn't go down as well as he might have hoped. I'm not about to get into a big discussion about Azerite Armor right now, okay? Big subject that we're actually going to dedicate the midweek video to. I actually think most of the frustration stems from one singular aspect that can be quite easily fixed, but let's be clear, I recognise these problems, and I'm not interested in solving them in this segment. That comes in the video in the week. No, here I want to look at Law's response, and more specifically, the responses to Law's response, because it's being held up as all sorts of wrong. So join us as we give Law some shit. So first off, let's give Law shit for being really insulting and dismissive to the player base while looking down at them from his ivory tower. I think what really got me was the tone, opening with a really confused quip and one of the most spectacular criticism dodges I've seen. The quip in question is where Law says he thinks the title of the post is a bit hyperbolic, which it is, and brings up AQ40 resistance gear farming as an example of worse itemization, which obviously is a terrible example, but is it tone deaf or dismissive or attempting to dodge criticism? Because literally the next thing he writes is, you've summarised a lot of the discussion we've been seeing around the community really well. That's not dismissive. What's tonally inappropriate about saying you've summarised a lot of the discussion we've seen around the community really well? Where's the attempt to dodge criticism in that? Likewise, in the course of his post, he agrees that there's a problem with gear targeting. He agrees about trait imbalance. He agrees that refarming traits is no fun. And he agrees that constant reforging is rubbish and is not the system working as intended. That's the vast majority of criticism criticism in this post that lore is accepting here as accurate. That doesn't strike me as criticism dodging or dismissive. For most of the points, he also goes on to suggest fixes for those issues, which, don't forget, the OP doesn't. He's honest in saying that they don't yet have a fix for the refarming trait problem, which for me is the easiest fix of all, but there you go. He gets a little bit confused in his response to the simming point, but he's just talking about a slightly different thing from the OP, and that's really unfortunate, but it's not malicious. And essentially what we've got here is everyone agreeing with each other on what the problems are, and I don't see how that means that the issue here is Blizzard not acknowledging what the problems are, because I can see them doing it right here, and I know what you're thinking. I can hear you right now typing in the comments calling me a Blizzard shill, but I'm not a Blizzard shill, I'm a person shill, because this is a real life person here that you are tearing apart and accusing of being bad at their job because they agree with most of the points in this post, but also made a bad joke about the title of the post. And as someone who makes bad jokes every day of his life, please let's not start flaming people for that. So look, this is not a defense of Blizzard, and it's not a defense of the Azerite system, okay? I think Blizzard need to put on their big boy pants on this and deal with it, but I think the community do too, and not just habitually lash out at sincere attempts at engagement. I disagree with most of the solutions suggested here, but accusing Blizz and lore of dismissing the points raised in the first place is inaccurate and unhelpful, and a clear case of Schrodinger's Blizzard, who simultaneously ignore your concerns, but also suggest fixes for your concerns which you don't agree with. Both of those things can't be happening. Personally, there's a lot that I like about the Azerite Armor system. In theory, it doesn't need scrapping, and actually a couple of very obvious changes I think would solve every issue. And like I say, don't worry, because I'm going to single-handedly solve the Azerite problem next video for free. Like, you don't even have to pay me. So now, finally, let me put up that big red spoiler warning. I'm going to talk data mining, and I'm going to talk old gods, and I've earned this now, okay? Because in amongst all of the quite startling lore details dragged out of the PTR code this week was one particular event which is especially close to my heart: the return of Naifu, everyone's favourite talking homicidal void dagger, Xal'atath, although no one loves her as much as me, okay? Because she is back in 8.1, and man, is she ever back. Because it seems that in the near future, we actually get sent on a quest line to retrieve the dormant Xal'atath, still tired out from draining all the bad from Sargeras' sword. When we find her and reawaken her, she appears to make a pact with N'Zoth. Hear me, N'Zoth, I bring you a gift. Look, I'm sure this gift she's talking about is like the body of some baddie we just killed to get there or something, but why do I feel like I'm the gift? I'm not sure how I feel about being a gift to N'Zoth. Actually, I do. I think I quite like it. And Naifu says, my name will be remembered in the Black Empire, which frankly sounds awesome. Like, seriously, yeah, count me in. And Xal'atath waking up isn't even the coolest thing about this, okay? Because then, got a sneaky feeling you're gonna like this, she kind of takes on a mortal form, becomes a female person, kind of like all those dreams you had, but with more or less tentacles depending on your dreams. And that's not even the best bit, okay? Because you've got Naifu back, Naifu has become a real life person. How could this scene possibly get any better? Oh yeah, that's right, she starts talking Welsh. Now, you can tell me that Welsh makes a handy placeholder for scary old god talk all you like, but in my mind, shut up, okay? Because Xal'atath, and by extension, all old gods, are now canonically Welsh, and there's nothing you can say to change my mind. And here's why you watch my channel, okay? Here's what I can offer you above any other YouTuber. I can speak Welsh. A bit. And here's the thing, you put this Welsh into Google, it breaks, it can't cope, because this isn't just Welsh. This is Old Welsh with weird spellings. I have loads of Welsh speaking friends, but only a couple of them could work out what some of these words were, which means someone at Blizzard either speaks Old Welsh, which is mind-blowing frankly, or alternatively someone just put it into Google Translate and then randomly changed some of the spellings, which I guess is maybe more likely. But anyway, the rough literal translation is, he calls from the depths, our wearer has come, the big eye watches you from the darkness, or is she come to reclaim, or it could be kill him, in your dreams, a city's disappointment. And okay, disappointment doesn't seem to fit really, but you get the idea. This is some old god shit going on here, and just in case you don't speak Old Welsh, there's handily tons of it in English too. His gaze falls upon every path, every dream given form, taste his true power, all glory to the master, his glory is awakened. You know what, I think this is us actually playing through in-game the actual awakening of N'Zoth. I mean, this is massive. This is like the most exciting lore event we've ever been allowed to witness in-game, and with Xal'atath by our side, who N'Zoth describes as the circle of stars made flesh, which reminds me, to find him, drown yourself in the circle of stars. Well, okay, if you insist. But that's not even the coolest part, because after all this, the new Not Knifey Knifeu takes her leave and says, "The universe opens before me. You may want to pray we never meet again. We have now opened the door for something bigger from Nazjatar." Now, apart from the obviously very exciting Nazjatar stuff, it's also heavily implied here we might end up fighting Xal'atath at some point. And I don't want to be the "I predicted that" guy, but you know, I did predict that over a year ago now. But anyway, and if Nazjatar is where N'Zoth is, as this implies, where and what is Ny'alotha? This is just the tip of a very exciting lore iceberg this week, but I'm done, frankly, I'm spent.
Okay, so there's a lot to get through here. So where to start on the gold mine of Datamined 8.1 story and lore, which, remember, you definitely shouldn't take seriously, but we're just going to go ahead and take totally seriously? Well, how about some character deaths? Because some lines from the Siege of Zuldazzar, which may now be renamed to the Burning of Zuldazzar, reveals that, as predicted, some pretty important lore characters might not be making it out of that raid alive. You may know already that Rastakhan, Mekkatorque, and Jaina all appear as boss fights in one form or another in the raid, but who will live to see 8.2? Well, Jaina does! She totally survives! She gets very injured in the fighting, but she's totally still alive. My subscription is assured for another patch. Phew. King Rastakhan dies! Yeah, sorry Rasta fans, but it looks like even the power of Bon Samdi isn't enough to protect Talanji's dad, and his 200-year reign comes to a sorry end at the hands of the Alliance. Although later on, Anduin insists that the death of the king wasn't intended, so, you know, morally grey and all that, I guess. And Mekkatorque. Well, okay, this one is a bit more complicated because basically at some point, the King of the Gnomes has a 1v1 robo-suit mecha showdown with Gallywix, which sounds just as ridiculous and adorable as you'd expect. Gallywix calls him "Hi, Stinker, Mekkatorque," lol. Mekkatorque is protected by proto-layered optimal titan, or plot, armor, until eventually the Horde players get the better of him, at which point it appears that his mecha suit freezes his body to protect it, and then jettisons him in an escape pod, which the Alliance recover, but no one can work out how to thaw him out, so yeah, Mekkatorque is just frozen now. Sorry, gnomes. But with Jaina alive, there's plenty of time for some Proudmoore family banter and Kultiras, as Tandred admires the memorial that Catherine had installed when she thought he was lost at sea. And Tandred says that when Jaina released him and the fleet from the storm, she essentially raised him from the dead, which is an unintentionally ironic choice of words because their brother Derek actually has been raised from the dead by Sylvanas in a scene which shows Bane being disgusted by the war chief's actions. "This is wrong. There is no honor in it," he says, for a change, but does nothing for a change. On the subject of raising the dead, there's lots of that happening around Darkshore. So you know how in the Arathi Warfront, Eitrig and Trollbane were giving each other sass talk all the way through just because they don't really like each other? Well, the Darkshore equivalent is a little more personal. Tyrande is so angry, she has embraced the fury of Elune and become a night warrior, while Nathanos has been busy raising fallen night elves as dark rangers, including Delarin Summermoon, which is really, really tragic. She's a character we follow throughout the Elegy novella and the Alliance Teldrassil pre-patch campaign before she's killed by Sylvanas, after maybe accidentally goading her into burning the tree. She's someone we know and like, and to see her fate mirror Sylvanas' own so closely, died failing to defend her home, raised by her murderer, is heartbreaking. And I think it kind of hints at what I think the true value of Warfronts will be going forward, as a way of delivering plot and character development. Darkshore Warfront is already much more important and interesting than Arathi, with some major events and possibly even some more important character deaths going down. This isn't just a random part of the old world revamped and fought over. The events of this battle are important and further the lore of the expansion in really big ways. And what if the Warfronts keep getting more important in that way? What if by the end of BfA there's a Stormwind Warfront where Anduin and Sylvanas face off? I really look forward to learning more about this. Of all the juicy story uncovered this week though, the most satisfying surely has to be the new quest lines involving Saurfang and his brand new sidekick, because 8.1 will also see the return, and actually the in-game debut, of Zekahn, or ZAPPY BOI! After transcending meme status to becoming genuinely one of the most popular and relatable characters the Horde have in the space of one cinematic in Old Soldier, ZAPPY BOI is reunited with Saurfang in 8.1, and and, well, they kind of go on a buddy cop adventure together. It's basically like 48 Hours if Nick Nolte was a moody orc and Eddie Murphy was an idealistic young troll, and also if it didn't last 48 hours, but it's brilliant, okay? But you know what's not brilliant? Zekhahn's in-game model, which at this stage leaves a lot to be desired. Okay, Blizz, let's get one thing straight, right? You put Zappy Boy back in the game, this is a very good thing. I'd say it probably makes up for WoD just by itself, but he's going to need a unique model, okay? I know that's probably a lot of work, but let's get our priorities straight, alright? This is the greatest living troll shaman we're talking about here. Actually, by 8.1 he might be the only shaman in BfA at all, so he gets his own model. End of. Like, cut a raid tier if you must. This shit is important. And actually, all of this shit is important. The Xal'atath stuff, and the Mekkatorque stuff, and the Proudmoore stuff, and the Tyrande stuff, the Nathanos stuff, and this. It's proof that Blizzard really meant it when they said the story would be much more involved and engaging this expansion, because, okay, it's not like I didn't believe them when they said that. Okay, fine, I totally didn't believe them. But all this suggests that they might be totally right. This is all awesome. It's something the expansion is doing really well so far, and it's probably one of the reasons I'm still having loads of fun with it every day, even though, you know, it's the worst expansion ever and stuff.
Hey, all that data mining stuff was pretty interesting, wasn't it?
So sick.
Now, obviously we're not going to spoil it here because there's no spoiler warning, like, but
No.
if I did want to go and spoil it for myself, even more, where can I find, like, all of the articles that told me all about that, which we just basically copied all that stuff from?
I know. Wowhead.
Yeah, Wowhead, we don't data mine. Like, what even is data mining?
I don't know.
Like, can someone?
It's like, is it a gnome with a pickaxe?
I think it's
going
I
through code?
think it's the android from Star Trek Next Generation with literally a pickaxe
Yeah.
and a mining helmet going through code and going, Jaina dies. Oh no, I didn't put the oh no! Now you
it's
know.
ruined.
Oh, this is terrible. This is the worst. We've ruined everything.
Well, if you want to know the truth, please check out Wowhead. And the articles we are linking below.
As always, we link all those articles below. You can go and peruse them at your spoiling pleasure.
Yeah.
Oh, I am really excited for the stuff in 8.1. Like, genuinely,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
all that story stuff sounds amazing. Like, to go along with the new raid, which I think sounds legit awesome, and everything like that. Sounds really good. Do you know what else I'm looking forward to, though, Evitel?
Tell me.
BlizzCon!
Oh! Hey, did we mention we're going to BlizzCon?
Yeah, we're going to BlizzCon. You might be going to BlizzCon as well, or maybe you'll be sitting at home watching it on the virtual ticket, or maybe you'll be sitting at home watching it on someone illegally streaming it. Either way, all perfectly fine as far as I'm concerned. But one thing you should definitely be doing is wearing a special T&E t-shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what? We've never done an ad. Like, when was the last time we did an advert for our t-shirts on this channel?
Literally.
I think like 1998 was the last time we did a t-shirt advert on this. So, yeah, as some of you may know, we have a t-shirt store. It's had like 3 t-shirts.
Excuse me, it's a merch store because there are also mugs.
Oh, do we need to do like a song? Like, YouTubers, they do songs for their merch. They're like, get the merch, get the merch.
Who does that?
You know, the brothers, the twins.
Oh, the
brothers.
Pauls.
The Pauls, Jake and Jimmy Paul. they do songs to get people to buy their merch. Like that's basically their whole video is a song doing the merch.
Oh.
Get the merch. And he's just like Father Christmas. He's like, if you don't get the merch, you're a scrub.
You are
and
clearly
I
in like
hate
a
you.
corner
You're
of
not a fan.
YouTube.
Get off my face.
Do not engage
Give me
with.
merch. Buy the merch or your shit.
Okay, so that was our merch song.
So we've got some designs specifically for BlizzCon.
These are BlizzCon. Are you okay?
I know. Do you know what? Finished the script at 5:30 in the morning. It's now like 9.
These are BlizzCon exclusives designed by yours truly, featuring.
I helped.
Yes.
I helped. I was on your shoulder. I was like, nah.
Yeah.
Can you make that more? Can you make me better looking?
Yeah.
And you're like, it's not possible.
No. So,
and I was like, you're not engaging with the problems I'm raising.
Featuring Taliesin's E-face, which you all want on a shirt.
Yeah, to
And-
show how excited you are about BlizzCon.
Exactly, when you just cannot contain it. And then also me looking
A bit moody, actually,
a
Evitel.
little sassy.
Yeah.
Just saying, obviously.
Yeah.
For when you need that mood.
You look
Big
like
mood.
you look like you're about to dismiss someone's perfectly valid forum complaint. On the t-shirt, but that's not all, is there? We got another t-shirt as
There's
well.
another one, which is for when you're ready to go to BlizzCon.
Yeah. So okay, yeah. So those are our new t-shirts. We still want the old ones as well, of course. But more big news, because one of the reasons we don't really advertise t-shirts much is because we've only had an EU store before, and we're aware that people buying from outside the EU, the shipping costs are extravagant. They're so much. So we are currently in the process of opening a US store as well.
Yeah.
It's not up yet because they're having problems. We're not. We're fine. They're having problems. But in the next couple of days, it'll be up. There will be a link in the description below as soon as it's up.
Yeah.
And so if you're from the US, you can now go and get normal costed shipping stuff.
Fingers crossed. That should be coming soon. So for now, if you're in the UK or in Europe, you get your stuff from our Spreadshirt shop. And then once it opens up in the US, we will be with Designed by Humans.
All those designs you can get on any colour t-shirt you want, like men and women. You can get
mugs,
hoodies
and mugs. You get hoodies, t-shirts, and mugs, basically.
I mean, I don't know
what else do you need. Pants? No.
I don't know why you would.
Nothing else.
Please bear in mind, like when you buy these t-shirts, the money we get from them is pretty much nothing. It's like negligible. So don't do it to support us. Do it because you want a t-shirt.
Do it because you want that t-shirt.
Honestly, it's cool for us to see people wearing them in BlizzCon. It's really fun. But don't do it because you really want to help us out. Get it if you want a t-shirt.
Yeah.
And what a t-shirt! I'm gonna get one.
I'm gonna get one too. Yeah. Should I wear your face and you can wear my face?
For a change.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was meant to be sexy, but it just sounded kind of...
It wasn't. It made me
feel
unwell.
Wrong and bad. Yeah. I'm never doing it again, don't worry. But yeah, sure, man. I'll get a t-shirt with your face on it.
Cool.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us today. If you enjoyed this video, don't thank us. Thank our patrons who give their actual real life money to help these videos happen. If you didn't like it, downvote the shit out of it. And remember, my name is Ketsuki.
Ooh.
Yeah, but only on Twitch. My name is not Kazuki on YouTube. It's a different Kazuki on YouTube.
I
don't know about them. No, my name is Taliesin. From me.
And from me, Evitel.
Until next time. Cheerio.